Let's talk about 5 ways that trade shows are a lot like the Super Bowl. Now, the first 4 will have you preaching and saying, yes, I feel seen. The 5th one is probably going to be a surprise or I've never thought of it like that kind of a thing because of all the trade shows that I've been to, and I've been to a lot of them. The 5th detail is the one that I see people fumble most often. Yes, pun included. Let's dive in. Way number 1 is high stakes and visibility. The Super Bowl is one of the most watched events of the entire year. And as the internet gets ever more popular and people can watch exactly what they want, we don't have the same 3 channels that I grew up watching when I was a kid. We've got infinite options, and still the Super Bowl is the number one thing that everybody is watching. In much the same way, trade shows are that for your industry. You've got to be able to think of the number one trade show for whatever it is that you are all about. I mean, there are even trade shows about trade shows. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, there's one top trade show that everybody is going to be at. And that means that you'll be in front of your perfect customers, potential partners. You'll be in front of media. So if there are podcasts or magazines, trade publications of all sorts, they're probably going to be at the show too. And this is your opportunity to be seen in front of them. So that's why visibility and the high stakes of investing so much money into this single event is why that's number 1 of why it's a lot like the Super Bowl. Way number 2 is the extensive planning that goes into this thing. Imagine the Super Bowl and just the logistics of the concessions and making sure there's enough food on premises, parking, keeping the lights on, all the logistics of getting the Super Bowl teams there. I mean, everything, the thousands and thousands of people that are coordinating and the logistics of making sure that the right detail is taken care of at the right time for the right people who need it when they need it. All of that stuff goes into planning your trade show because you've got to plan travel and accommodation for a whole bunch of people. And you've also got to define your marketing messaging. You've got to get all of your internal teams on the same page for why we're going to this trade show in the first place. So all those logistics of shipping and the drayage of getting your booth from the shipping dock to your actual booth in the exhibit hall, all of that is a lot like the Super Bowl. Reason number 3 is the fierce competition. Now, in some ways, the Super Bowl doesn't even hold a candle to trade shows because you've got Team 1 and Team 2 fighting over the championship, the winners of the year and the bragging rights, and it is a fierce competition. Well, at a trade show, all of your direct competitors are going to be at that trade show, and you are all vying for that attention to grab those eyeballs as best you can. So instead of just you against one competitor, you've got a whole roster full of other exhibits on premises trying to grab those attendees. So it is a fierce competition where it's kind of winner takes all. It's not quite zero-sum game because sure, there are a lot of folks at the trade show that you could work with, that you could refer business to, but your competitors are there. You don't ever want to say anything bad about them, but it is good to be aware that they are there and to be able to field. So what makes you guys different from the other guys? So that's why the fierce competition makes your trade show exactly like the Super Bowl. Number 4 goes along with number 2, but it is the coordination of the people. We have a lot of logistics centered around the people and making sure that everybody is on the same page, that they are trained properly, that they understand what the game plan is for the trade show, what their job is and what role and how that fits into the bigger picture and who's going to be the quarterback. I mean, the analogy could go real deep sleep real quickly, but it's the sheer amount of coordination and training and prep required to make sure that it goes off as a coordinated whole instead of this person doing what they do and this person doing whatever they feel like and then that person doing I have no clue what that is, right? So if you don't have that kind of unified mission and vision, then everybody's going to do whatever they feel like it. And then after the show, you're going to wonder, how in the world could we have lost so badly? Well, it's because not everybody was coordinated properly. And that's why in such a high stake environment that is ultra competitive, why the trade show is the kind of one event to rule them all, that if you manage all those four details properly, you'll have a great time. And it could be the single most valuable lead generation strategy for the business for the coming year. If you do it right, your pipeline could be full for months afterwards. And that brings us to detail number 5 of why trade shows are a lot like the Super Bowl. And this is the one that I feel like most people drop the ball on. And it is the entertainment side of the Super Bowl. Now, yes, the Super Bowl is the single most watched thing on planet Earth during that night, right? But why? There's football for months leading up to it. And then why do people tune in? They've got a lot of reasons for why they're there. Yes, there are lots of people who are there for the football game. They're there for the competition and to watch football. However, there are lots more people who are there to watch the commercials. I'm watching the Super Bowl because I love the commercials. Then you've got the other set of folks that are there to watch the halftime show. So even the football company, like the organization that is putting together the Super Bowl, understands that at halftime, we have to entertain this audience somehow. And what do? They bring in some of the biggest names from the world of entertainment. And that entertainer puts on a show, a 20, 30-minute show full of choreography. And if you thought there was a lot of logistics for just the Super Bowl, there's that much and probably more for building a whole stage and getting all the sound right and then coordinating the cameras and all that kind of stuff. But the organizers of football understand that football by itself is not going to be enough to make everybody watch this thing. And that's what happens at trade shows. That's why I see so many people who organize the trade show spend so much time, money, and effort in building an incredible booth and focusing on their product and making sure you've got brochures, and then nothing. They think, well, we're here. Everybody is going to want to hear about our fabulous widgets. So we're doing everything we need to do. The booths that I see getting the most business out of their exhibit bring in a performer, a speaker, what I call an in-booth presenter, somebody who is world class at taking your messaging, then putting it into an interactive, fun demonstration that takes about 10 minutes. That is so fun, so amazing that they build a crowd full of people going, what in the world is going on over there? I got to check this out. And it completely sidesteps the sales team going, hey, how's your day going? Hey, could I talk at you? Could I sell you our stuff? Everybody knows that's why the salesperson in the booth is saying, hey, how's it going today? And they're not there. They are there to walk the gauntlet, eyes down, no eye contact. I've got somewhere I need to be. And that's why your sales team can't make that introduction. But if you have an in-booth presenter or performer, an interactive audience engagement specialist like me and my team, then you short circuit that whole, their only reason they're talking to me is to pitch me their widgets or their services or anything like that. So what winds up happening is that you have a show, you have an experience in your trade show booth. And it's so interesting, it's so fun that attendees can't help but be drawn to it. And then they're having so much fun that they don't mind that you take a couple seconds to say, you know what, we really appreciate you stopping by here at Widget Co. We believe in this, this, and this. And if you're here for that, then talk to our sales team. But if you're not here for that, we've got a free gift for you. And go bring your friends. We'll be doing this for the next 3 days. See you there. Right? That kind of sales pitch works great because there's a phenomenal show that buys enough goodwill from the attendees to go, you know what, that was really clever. That was interesting. They get it. They're willing to do something a little different that clearly works. These are the folks that I want to work with. So that's why it's called a trade show, and everybody forgets the show part and focuses on the how do we trade business cards element that's about as exciting as nothing. So that's why the Super Bowl, yes, is a football game that everybody watches because of the show element. And at your next trade show, if you have something fun and engaging in your booth, it could be the single most valuable couple of days from your entire company's year. So if you're wondering, like, how in the world could that work? I don't know if we could do that. I would love to talk to you. Shoot me an email, a message, just leave a comment here. If you get something out of this video, give us a thumbs up, and then that way, we know that that's what you'd like to see more of. And yeah, so that's why I wanted to share these 5 things. And I told you that number 5 was going to be I've never thought of it that way. The next thing that I would love for you to check out is the number 1 booth strategy, like the booth marketing strategy, that is actually the worst for your company, but one of the most popular forms of marketing. And a lot of folks don't understand how much it's costing their company to do this particular thing. So I made a whole video about it, and I would highly suggest that you check that out next. And also, if you would like our 16-week guide of how to plan trade shows, again, just shoot me a note and I'll try to get that to you, or I'll just put a link to it in the notes here on YouTube. But that's it for now. Check out that next video, and I will see you soon. In the meantime, remember, if you can change your mind, you can change your life.